I'm delighted today to be joined by Odia Kagan. Odia is the partner and chair of GDPR compliance and international privacy at Fox Rothschilds. Has previously spoken on privacy enhancing technologies and in forums with the FFIS program on the relevance to anti-money laundering use cases. Delighted to have you on the line again, Odia.
Pleasure to be here.
So you very kindly offered to talk us through the legislative proposal in the US promoting Digital Privacy Technologies Act and to help us understand what that means. So what is this proposal and what are they trying to achieve?
So this is a bill that was filed by two senators, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto and Deb Fischer. And basically what it does is it directs the director of the National Science Foundation in consultation with a couple of other federal agencies and to coordinate with NIST and the Federal Trade Commission to accelerate the development and the use of privacy enhancing technologies. So basically the bill requires there to be conducted research, and the research includes a number of areas, including technologies for de-identification, pseudonymization, anonymization, obfuscation of personal data sets while maintaining fairness, accuracy, and efficiency. It also asks to look into algorithms and mathematical tools used to protect individual privacy, and also technologies that promote data minimization principles in collecting, sharing, and analytics. And basically, I think that it tees off, right, a kind of federally supported research and inquiry and, deep look into these technologies and how they can benefit and how we can benefit from them in the various use cases.
Very interesting. And, from your perspective, how significant do you think this proposal is? What impact could it have on industry more broadly in the US? And, how do you see this perhaps indicating future government intent in this area?
So I think, as we've discussed before, right, one of the key challenges in with respect to these technologies that require, investment and that require buy-in from industry and that require, going all in on innovation is that you want to know that there is support from the powers that be to this. And you also want to have parameters to work within in order to know that if, that your solution can kind of serve as a safe harbor when it's developed. So this is, I think, a first step. First of all, it has, if nothing else, right, it's got the it says, look, the fact that we are stating this, the fact that we are kind of, gathering all of these agencies and the Federal Trade Commission, which is an enforcer, and the NIST, which is the sort of kind of techie scientific component, and saying, look, we're endorsing this, we've got to look into it, means that basically signifies that at the federal level, they see value in it. And I think even that in itself has an effect. And of course, the result of the report, that also, of course, is going to have more impact, right? Once we know kind of more concrete things.
Very interesting. And perhaps, we spoke on a panel organized by Duality Technologies around the relevance of privacy enhancing technology, privacy preserving analysis in the anti-money laundering space, an area where information sharing is very important to supporting more effective results, but there are often barriers which potentially privacy enhancing technology can help alleviate. What do you see as the potential relevance for this act with regard to the anti-money laundering space? Or perhaps something that might grow in the future that stakeholders in the anti-money laundering space should take note of?
So I think, first of all, looking into these technologies and figuring out, what their value is and all of that, I think that has value in itself in order to promote it. Like I said, I think that, the issues that I come by and that are actually not addressed in this bill are, so privacy enhancing technologies and using them in AML, one, obviously there's a sort of clear benefit, right, as to why they could be used. Because if you are reducing the amount of information exchanged or making that exchange more secure, you are moving the needle towards, you know, a better position. And I think that, you know, this research and this research that's sort of endorsed by the federal government can contribute to that. As I said, it's like a sort of backwind supporting this development, supporting the adoption by, you know, reluctant members of industry. The counterpart of it, which is the part that I sort of deal with more in my practice, and that is the piece that, you know, is missing from this bill and maybe, you know, could be added in a future iteration, is the interplay and kind of impact of privacy enhancing technologies, the use of them, and data protection legislation. So it sort of seems obvious to the layperson, generally speaking, right? If you are able to achieve the same purpose with which I think the premise, especially with AML and in the financial sector and fraud detection, the premise that I'm sort of operating on and have been informed by my, you know, professional colleagues in that space is that it's very difficult to do in a vacuum, like a bank alone with their own data, very difficult to do it. So sharing is needed. So if you need to share and you are able to share less information in a more secure manner, okay, that seems kind of universally helpful. However, existing and new privacy laws, right? GDPR in the EU and now CPRA coming up in California, or CCPA, or the bazillion state laws that are coming up. I read 4 bills this morning. They all regulate data sharing, and there are instances and could be instances where even this reduced level of sharing might still be too much sharing under data protection laws, because in GDPR you have to have like a necessity test and proportionality test, and this kind of data minimization and the concept of sale is sort of kind of, I don't know if interferes, but it's sort of there and needs to be dealt with. So I think that the one extra step in connection with this bill, even if in the form of a declaration, would be to say, hey, and we also need to look at how this plays nicely with the privacy laws so that we can get to a solution, because it's recognized already that there are issues with this under GDPR, and a, you know, legislative solution where the legislator says, hey, you know, this is what I'm thinking, or there is a special use case that, you know, this is done with GDPR all the time. If there is a law, especially at the European level, right, or a member state law, right, that sort of says something, then that helps dictate the processing, because, you know, compliance with the law is one of the permissible legal bases under GDPR. So I think that component, if added, would really be helpful. And even to deal with the other component, right? Like, yes, we're encouraging industry and encouraging innovation and encouraging adoption, and also saying, hey guys, you know, it's going to be okay, because, you know, you're not going to get you're not going to end up with a data protection violation because of using these technologies.
Really interesting. Thank you for explaining that and talking us through the proposed legislation. It's an exciting time for this agenda. We have the Financial Action Task Force running through the German presidency of FATF this year, a digitization agenda. Looking into opportunities for collaboration. They refer to data pooling, as well as the use of privacy preserving analytics utility functions. And I think they're playing an important role to bring data protection stakeholders into the discussion. Obviously, legislation in the US, I know the Information Commissioner's Office in the UK is looking at the implications of this technology as well. From our own side, the mapping exercise on the use of privacy enhancing technology and privacy preserving analytics for financial crime purposes is on our website with a January update. and will shortly be publishing a paper on the GDPR significance of the use of this technology as part of a longer series looking at the relevance of these techniques for financial crime purposes. So in this exciting time, thank you very much for explaining that, Odia, and we look forward to checking back in with you as this develops. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.